This is Department of English, Government Postgraduate College, Attock for online classes, and I am Muhammad Ali, lecturer in English. This online class is for M English Part 1. Our paper is Paper 3, Novel 1. Today we will discuss types of novel. This is third part of my presentation. It is continuation of previous lecture. Following kinds of novel will be discussed: domestic novel, epistolary novel, novel of adventure, philosophical novel, novel of ideas, and Gothic novel. Let us start with the domestic novel. A domestic novel is also known as sentimental fiction or women's fiction. It was widespread in the early to mid 19th century. It was primarily read by women. It has sentimental language to encourage female readership. Domestic novel is about family life. In order to appeal to the readers, the status of the family is middle class, so that a larger group of the society which belongs to the same class feels it a picture of their own life. The genre began with Catherine Sedgwick. She was 1789 to 1867. The novel is New England Tale, that was written in 1822 and remained a dominant fictional type until after 1870. Domestic novel has a particular type of heroine, specifically either the angel or the practical woman, in contrast with an incompetent or unskilled or cowardly woman. The novel documents the heroine's struggle for self-mastery. She controls her emotions and desires. She tries to control her feelings and her wants. She may undergo religious struggles in the submission of her emotions and wants. She may suffer abuse by persons in position of power. She will usually be married by the time the story is ended, either to a bad man who the heroine's virtue has reformed, or to a paragon or ideal to whom she has aspired. Example of this novel: Pride and Prejudice. It focuses primarily on emotional matters, which is the hallmark or quality of a domestic novel. Elizabeth Lizzie, the heroine, fits the practical women template and fights for self-mastery through the novel and makes a marriage, all of which are typical of a domestic novel. Next, epistolary novel. An epistolary novel is a novel written as a series of documents. The usual form is letters, although diary entries, newspaper clippings, and other documents are sometimes used. Recently, electronic documents such as recordings and radio, blogs, and emails have also come into use. The word epistolary is derived from Latin and Greek meaning letter. The epistolary form can add greater realism to a story because it mimics or imitates or recreates the workings of real life. It is thus able to demonstrate differing points of view without recourse or option or alternative to the device of omniscient knowing everything narrator. It means there is no need of narrator because these are direct letters. There is the fictional editor for creating the impression of authenticity, realism, or truth of the letters. Epistolary novel as a genre became popular in the 18th century in the works of such authors as Samuel Richardson, with his immensely successful novels Pamela and Clarissa. Further examples: Jane Austen, she was from 1775 to 1817, tried her hand at the epistolary in juvenile or young writings, and her novella Lady Susan. It is thought that her last novel First Impressions, which was redrafted to become Pride and Prejudice, may have been epistolary. Pride and Prejudice, that was written in 1813, contains an unusual number of letters quoted in full, and some play a critical role in the plot. Pronunciation of juvenile, and the next word is Susan. Next is novel of adventure. Adventure novel is a genre of fiction that usually presents danger or gives the reader a sense of excitement, thrill, or stimulation. An adventure is an event or series of events that happens outside the course of the protagonist's ordinary life, usually accompanied by danger, often by physical action. Adventure stories move quickly, and the pace of the plot is at least as important as characterization, setting, and other elements of a creative work. Adventure novel often overlaps with other genres, notably war novel, crime novel, spy novel, etc. Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities is an adventure novel because the protagonists or main characters are in constant danger of being imprisoned or killed. Next is philosophical novel. Philosophical novel is a work of fiction that raises questions which are normally addressed in philosophy. Exempli gratia, the function and role of society, the purpose of life, ethics or morals, the role of art in human lives, and the role of experience or reason in the development of knowledge. Philosophical fiction works would include the so-called novel of ideas, including some science fiction, utopian or idealistic or perfect, and dystopian means dehumanizing and unpleasant fiction. There is no universally accepted definition of philosophical fiction, but a sampling of notable works can help to outline its history. Some philosophers write novels in order to demonstrate or introduce their ideas. Others who admire certain philosophers may include or incorporate their ideas into the principal themes or central narratives of novels. So, examples of philosophical novel. Thomas More's novel is Utopia, that was written in 1516, and next Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, then Kierkegaard, Diary of a Seducer, Leo Tolstoy wrote War and Peace and Resurrection. Similarly, Friedrich Nietzsche, he wrote Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Franz Kafka, he wrote The Trial, and Jean Paul Sartre, he wrote Nausea. George Orwell, he wrote Animal Farm. He wrote Animal Farm in 1945. For Whom the Bell Tolls, that was written in 1940 by Hemingway. Hemingway was from 1899 to 1961. Nathan Bryan argues main theme for Whom the Bell Tolls is existentialist and developed from Robert Jordan's search for meaning in life. What is existentialism? It means it explores the nature of existence by emphasizing experience of the human subject, not merely the thinking subject, but the acting, feeling, living human individual. The individual's starting point is characterized by existential attitude, dread, etc., or a sense of confusion or anxiety in the face of apparently meaningless or absent world. Next is novel of ideas. A novel of ideas is one in which the plot is driven by an exploration of an idea or set of related ideas, and all other elements of the story, characters, scene, setting, dialogue, are servant to the idea. They are generally intended to inform, educate, persuade, or moralize. The examples are The Stranger, that was written in 1942 by Albert Camus, and next is Brave New World, that was written in 1932. It is also science fiction by Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley was from 1894 to 1963. Animal Farm, that was written in 1945. It is also a lyrical novel by George Orwell. George Orwell was from 1903 to 1950. Next is Gothic novel. The first Gothic fiction appeared with works of Horace Walpole, who was from 1770 to 1797. The novel is Castle of Otranto. Castle of Otranto, that was written in 1765, and Matthew Gregory's Lewis Monk, that was written in 1796, which countered 18th century rationalism with scenes of mystery, horror, and wonder. Gothic, the spelling Gothic better conveys the contemporary flavor, was a designation derived from architecture. The atmosphere of a Gothic novel was dark, stormy, ghostly, full of madness, anger, superstition, and the spirit of revenge. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Edgar Allan Poe also developed the Gothic style brilliantly in the United States. Thank you very much for watching.